Well, hello and welcome back to the Daily Brew, the devotional, where every day we drink a new brew of coffee and we see what God is brewing for us in the Bible. Yes, it's cheesy, but it's true. And today you join me in Waiuku. If you don't know where that is, have a quick Google on Google Maps. It'll help you find it. But basically, it's on the other side of Auckland, the other peninsula on the other side. State Highway 20, I believe, is the drive. But I'm here doing some team training. I'm on the road again. But it is good to have you here with me today. Looking forward to getting into our brew and also our devotional for today. Speaking of devotionals for today, let's have a look at what we're reading in the Bible. We are reading Proverbs 7, 6 to 20, Luke 2, 1 to 20, and Numbers 5, 11, 6 to 27. So those are the scriptures we are reading for today, and we're going to be covering that off in our devotional journey. But before we go any further into the devotional journey, let's talk brews. And today, our brew that we are going to be drinking is one, again, of our instant coffees that have been given to me by my friend, Nath Sayuli, who was given it to him by his friend. I don't know. Anyway, today we're going to be having the Savage Coffee. Now, Savage Coffee is I'll read you the back of the packet, okay? It says, our single-serve instant coffees are cultivated under Panama's tropical rainforest canopy by boutique family estates, then processed using the highest industry standards. These coffees are not just rare and delicious, they are incredibly convenient by simply adding 170 ml of clean, balanced hot water with each sachet. Savage Coffee's Instant demonstrates our commitment to quality while embracing advanced innovation. This is the fourth wave of coffee. They do a whole bunch, and you can head to their website, savagecoffees.net, and you can check out all of their options. I'm going to probably buy one of their cold cans or bottles, get it shipped to my house so that I can try it later. But for now, what we have is we have the sachet. Now, apparently what I'm supposed to taste in this sachet, this has got tasting notes on the back of it, instant coffee. This feels like this could be the bougiest instant coffee we've ever had here on the Daily Brew. It says I'm supposed to taste jasmine, juicy, balanced sweetness, grapefruit peel, and black tea. So that's a lot to be jamming into a small sachet of instant coffee. It's also got a Flight Coffee logo on the back, so I don't know if Flight Coffee have been involved in this. I haven't had any Flight Coffee on this podcast. Well, we're going to have some of that later. Anyway, let me just add this here. So I'm going to add it to my cup. I'm going to add it to my cup. And just peel the top off like that. Okay, and pop it. Let me just give it a sniff. It smells nice. Smells good. Okay, I'm going to add it in. Give the wee bag a tap. Got my trusty spoon. And now I stir. Make sure we get all the coffee into it. Give it a good stir. Talk amongst yourselves for a bit. Okay. Now today when I was at a school that I was here doing the Leadership Academy with, I had instant and I put sugar in it because it was really, really average. So today I'm hoping that this is going to be better than what I had earlier today at the time of recording. Let's give this a try. Let's give it a try and see how it goes. The Savage Coffee's instant coffee. Let's give it a go. Okay, in the mouth. Well, by far it's better than any of the instant coffee we had last week in Taumaranui. Am I getting the tasting notes? It's definitely instant coffee, naturally, but it's not bad. It's actually quite nice. On the second taste, I definitely am getting more of that sweetness. I don't know how to describe balanced sweetness in my mouth, but it's definitely got sweetness. It tastes nice. Grapefruit peel, maybe not, but I'm trying to get what that is. It's lovely. In terms of an instant coffee, I'm going to strongly recommend this to you. I strongly recommend. I'm not paid. Oh, I dropped that on the floor. That's not good. I'm not paid to say it, but I think you should give this a go. Head to their website, order a couple of sachets, give it a go yourself. Honestly, I think this might be the coffee I take on the road. Because this is brilliant. Because it is. It tastes like It doesn't taste like instant. Do you know what it does? It does taste like instant, but for instant coffee, it tastes like maybe this could be a filter coffee, maybe. But it is instant, and I ripped it from a packet. So, you know what? I reckon give that a go. Give it a go. Have a look. SavageCoffees.net. Check it out. Let me know if you give it a go, what it tastes like for you. But that's enough for the brews. Let's get into the Bible, the reason we are here for today. Where I'm staying at the moment is in Waiuku. I've already said that, and it's currently on a lifestyle block on a farm. And you might be able to see behind me the rolling hills that go off into a blue sky. It's beautiful today. And the grass here, it's out these double doors here. I've got beautiful rolling hills, green grass, luscious grass. The grass is green here. It's luscious. And it's a pretty amazing place to drive. It's a pretty amazing place to drive and head around and drive around. It's about 25 minutes to the school that I'm in at the moment. I'm doing the Leadership Academy. And it made me think about the saying as I was driving. It made me think about the saying that's the grass is always greener on the other side. I was thinking about that. I was like, where did that saying come from? The grass here in New Zealand is green pretty much everywhere unless it's drought season, right? But in a quick Google search, I discovered that this saying, the grass is always greener, comes from an online dating agency's advertising campaign, and their whole idea was to encourage married men and women who wanted to have an affair to date other people. I mean, there's so much wrong with that sentence I just said. Like, it's really sad. Like, honestly, it really is sad. The company was making money on people's misery. Like, I think anyone who benefits financially on people's pain and brokenness, I think it's wrong and I think it's disgusting, to be honest. However, they were doing this, okay? So this was happening, and this was their advertising campaign to say the grass is greener on the other side. If you feel bad in this, what they're saying is you'll feel better in that. So their whole advertising campaign, the whole premise of their advertising campaign was to say, look, you feel bad right now, but you're going to feel better over there. If you feel bad in this, you'll feel better in that. In other words, they're saying if you feel empty in this, the relationship you have right now, trust me, you're going to feel so much better in that. You'll feel full in that. If you feel lonely in this relationship, you will feel connected in that other relationship. You might even feel more loved in that relationship. If you feel frustrated in this place, you're going to feel peace in that. And often, the things that are suggested to us, if we're ever in those positions, if we're ever feeling stuck, or we are feeling empty in our relationships, or we are feeling lonely, or we are feeling frustrated, often the world will suggest to us that the solution is anything but Jesus. And all this does is leads to more pain, more frustration, and further emptiness. Our faith, though, as Christians, is a faith of faithfulness, which sounds funny, which is why I stumbled, because I was like, a faith of faithfulness, but it is. Our faith is based on the premise of faithfulness. And the reality is that the grass isn't always greenest on the other side. The reality is that the grass is always greenest where you water it. The awesome thing as Christians is that we have access to the living water. We have access to Jesus Christ, the living water, the one who is and was and is to come. And in Jesus, we find our fullness. In Jesus, we find everything that we need. In Jesus, we find fruitfulness and abundance. And when we use that living water in every relationship, it's easier to stay faithful. The truth is, our God is faithful to us, so we should remain faithful to Him. In every area of our life and in every relationship, the overflow of our relationship should be faithfulness with God and to people. Our proverb today focuses on being faithful in relationships. Being unfaithful carries danger, and our proverb today is full of warnings. There's a contrast presented between two women in our passage. The first one is Lady Wisdom, and the second one is the adulteress. Now, when we read Proverbs, we have to read the tone of the book correctly. The tone of the book is that wisdom is coming from a father to a son. It's not the fact that women are more likely to be adulterous or that women are evil and that we should be worried about women in adultery. But it's not like that. What we're saying is that the literary tone of the literature tone, the tone of the literature that we are reading is one of, you know what, father to son. And so the father to the son says and uses woman as an illustration of adultery. The father urges his son to embrace Lady Wisdom and no matter what the cost, avoid the adulteress. Sexual temptation is like a doorbell at the door of our heart. It's loud, consistent, and it can be hard to ignore. Look at how it's described. The writer describes it and explains it like it's lurking behind every corner. The language makes it sound like it's everywhere, and the truth is that it is. Not just for us, but for the children who are growing up right now in the world around us. Sometimes people say it's okay because of love. They use love as the reason for sexual sin. Unfaithfulness and all sexual sin is still sin, even if it's done in the name of love. The Bible actually says that our heart, which is where love tends to live, is deceptive. And so if we're following that, that's not a great reason to be living in sin. I want to encourage you today, yes, it's hard, and no, it's not just an issue for men, but do what you can to stay faithful to the Lord. And when it comes to you, and when it comes to your purity, stay faithful to those in your relationships. If you're married, stay faithful, both to God and to your partner. You might be tempted by some greener grass over there to go lie down in it and to just relax in that green grass. But you might actually get there and realize that this isn't grass, this is astroturf, and it looks green, but it's artificial and fake, and you might come away with some solid burns. When we think of faithful people in the Bible, we can build a pretty solid list. One of the guys that really inspires me in our scriptures today is Joseph. That dude, man, what a guy. His fiance comes to him and says, I'm pregnant and God made me pregnant. I'd be like, yeah, sure, okay. To be honest, if Annalise came to me and said something like that, I'd like to think that I would have the discernment to be okay with it, to trust in the Lord and to trust her, but I reckon I would struggle. Today in the book of Luke, we see that Joseph remains loyal and he helps baby Jesus come into the world. He helps Mary deliver baby Jesus. For Joseph, this would have been hard, it wouldn't have been easy because Mary was pregnant, and it's a bit sus, but not only that, the reputational damage to Joseph for the rest of his life would have been huge. He would have been labeled as that guy whose wife cheated on him. Yeah, with the angel. You see Joseph, that guy's wife cheated with him on an angel. You know, it's like, really? Joseph would have had every reason to say, guys, the grass in my patch is dead, but he remains faithful. He continues to serve Mary and the Lord, trusting in God and continuing to water his patch of grass and his fiancée and then wife, Mary. His loyalty and faithfulness to Mary and to God played a significant part in Jesus' story. Jesus became a carpenter like Joseph. Joseph raised Jesus the best he could. He stayed faithful, remained loyal, no matter what the pressure that he may have felt and what it looked like from the outside. That's what faithfulness looks like. What a guy. Numbers also gives us context to what would happen to an unfaithful wife. It tells us that the law that Joseph would have been living under would have been that he could have subjected Mary to this kind of judgment and processing, but he doesn't. He doesn't. He remains faithful to Mary and trusts her at her word. Why was it focused on women? Have you read this and gone, why is this specifically focused on women? Well, men had leadership roles, and they had more authority in Bible times. And this law, some believe that the law was designed to protect women from false superstition. For suspicion. For Bible times, breeding the population was a huge priority. And so sexual immorality followed because people just sleep around and try and breed more and more people. If a husband suggested that something had happened or felt suspicious that the woman didn't remain loyal, the woman in question didn't have many rights in the ancient Near East, which is where the Bible time was written. So the law was introduced. And it's amazing to me that Joseph trusted Mary and trusted the Lord, not needing to use this law, but extending grace, mercy, and faithfulness. I want to encourage us, as we experience faithfulness, our response should be to remain faithful to those around us in every relationship we find ourselves into. Verse of the day. Yes, it's a bit longer today's devotional, but that's okay. We're into it. Numbers 6:21 says, "This is the law of the Nazarite who vows offerings to the Lord in accordance with their dedication, in addition to whatever else they can afford. They must fulfill the vows they have made according to the law of the Nazarite." What we've read is the last part of Numbers talking about the Nazarite vow. It's a commitment that's made. It's a form of promise. It could be lifelong, like we see with Samson, Samuel, and John the Baptist, or it could be temporary. This was an expression made of holiness, a promise to remain holy. Not everybody needed to do this, but if you did, the expectation was that you would follow through. The reason why it's important to us today, and I wanted to point it out, is because we can be so quick to promise the Lord so many different things. We have to be careful because as we make a promise, we have to make sure we're willing to fulfill that promise. So which promises have you made to the Lord? Are you fulfilling it right now? Be careful when it comes to making new promises, because if we promise something to God, and we should remain faithful to Him and make sure we follow it through. Well, that is it today for the Daily Brew. Thank you so much for joining me today here in Waiuku. I pray that God is speaking to you through these scriptures. Join me tomorrow for a super Super 7 store-bought can or coffee. I got to go into town and find something cold to drink. It is warm here today. I'm in the sun. The sun's been moving. Sorry about that. I pray God blesses you. Have a great rest of your day if it's the start of your day. Unless it's sleep time, good night, sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. And we'll see you tomorrow back here on the Daily Brew for Waiuku Day 2.